Before we start today's video, check out our merch shop, linked in the description down below. Use code Ahsoka in all caps to get $7 off your order. May the Force be with you, and enjoy the vid.
Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
The Mandalorian's prophecy is the key to the future of Star Wars. The Mandalorian's prophecy of Mandalore has massive implications for the future of the Star Wars franchise, specifically on how it can impact the Mandalorian movie, or the Thrawn movie. An ancient Mandalorian prophecy introduced in the Book of Boba Fett is key to the future of the Mandalorian and the entire Star Wars galaxy. Star Wars isn't really necessarily a science fiction franchise, rather it's more of a science fantasy, of course. As such, themes of prophecy have come up quite a few times, most notably the Chosen One prophecy about Anakin Skywalker. Prophecy and visions of the future have a disturbing history in the Star Wars franchise, though. The Chosen One prophecy led to the downfall and salvation of the Jedi, while Jedi Master Sifo Dyas's visions of the Clone Wars led to his commissioning of the very clone army that would wipe out the Jedi. Anakin Skywalker's visions of his wife Padme's death became a self-fulfilling prophecy. All of these examples mean viewers would be wise to take another prophecy, very much so, quite seriously, one that we've seen recently with The Mandalorian. And so, this one initially associated with Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, and Grogu. After all, there hasn't been a single example of a prophecy, necessarily, having no impact on Star Wars as a whole, especially explicitly for how we're going to see this unfold in the future, the near future of the Mandoverse. And so, the big question, what exactly is this Mandalorian prophecy that we're talking about? In the Book of Boba Fett, Episode 5, the Armorer reveals an ancient Mandalorian prophecy that holds hope for Mandalore. The songs of eons past foretold that the mythosaur rising up to herald a new age of Mandalore, she recalls. The prophecy states that a new leader of Mandalore will rise and unite Mandalore. This great warrior will ride the mythosaur into battle, heralding the new age of the mythosaur. This prophecy appears to be linked to the living waters of Mandalore, a term that, like many aspects of Mandalorian lore, is influenced by the Hebrew Bible actually. It is taken directly from Jeremiah 2:13 and 17:13, where God likens himself to the living waters. Furthermore, Zechariah also prophesied that living water would flow throughout Israel and rejuvenate the barren desert. This suggests that the barren Mandalore, which, like Jerusalem, sits atop an aquifer, will flow like the living waters into this new age. See how you can kind of compare and contrast this into what we saw unfold, especially with The Mandalorian Season 3. It's always neat to see a little bit of tidbits here and there of how the Star Wars franchise has those biblical implications. And so, really, let this sit as a reminder that the mythosaur prophecy will come true, despite how the Mandalorian Season 3 finale concluded. There's this literary principle called check-off guns, which states all elements in a story must have a purpose. This comes specifically into the regards of that, well, when a weapon, okay, more broadened, is maybe shown at the beginning of a TV show or a movie, it's destined by the end of that show or movie specifically that that gun or that weapon would be used. And so, of that, think of the Mandalorian prophecy as to the check-off guns of this story, as proven when Bo-Katan sees a mythosaur in the living waters in The Mandalorian Season 3. Supporting this, Bo-Katan has just been added to that Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes game recently, and this confirms Bo-Katan's new role as the Mandalore, of by which it's something I'll be discussing in a separate feature video here on the channel in more detail and in more depth. All the more reason to grab that subscribe button if you haven't already. And so, at the end of The Mandalorian Season 3, the Mandalorians officially took back their homeworld of Mandalore from the Imperial Remnant. There, they were able to finally bathe in the living waters in the mines of Mandalore and light the Great Forge for its first time in years. They did this as both of a symbol of hope and a return to the way, and a demonstration of their own commitment to restore their ravaged world. This is another indication that the prophecy will come true. Mandalore is beginning a a new chapter with the return of the mythosaur, the declaration of Bo-Katan as Mandalore, and the return to the old ways. The prophecy appears to have already been set in motion. The return of the mythosaur and the declaration of Bo-Katan as the new official Mandalore, or leader of Mandalore, and now this return to the old ways as well, also taken as an indication from what we saw with the season finale of The Mandalorian. That part specifically of this returning to the old ways, I think, has many implications that we're yet to see unfold within the future of The Mandalorian, especially for The Mandalorian Season 4. The old ways of Mandalorians never committed to necessarily wearing their helmets, so I do wonder if they'll begin to stray away from that once again. But mind you, there are other things that play into their whole idea of the old ways. And so, this here all being said, the prophecy has massive implications for the Mandalorians and their future, as I had mentioned in The Mandalorian Season 4, and especially for the Mandalorian cultimation movie being made by Dave Filoni, also known as the Thrawn movie, as a culmination of all of the events that have gone in with the Mandoverse, the Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, and the Mandalorian. However, one question that simply still remains is how this prophecy will come to be. After all, visions of the future are not common occurrences for most people in the Star Wars franchise and universe, especially those that aren't necessarily Force sensitive. The only people known to have such visions are those with a strong connection to the Force. This suggests that there could be more Force sensitives, or even a Force sensitive bloodline on Mandalore that would be a part of the Mandalorians right now. This would be an interesting one because, up until now, it has appeared that Mandalorians are not usually Force sensitive. If Force sensitives really did give this prophecy, they may be more prevalent and possibly revered than previously thought. This would change Mandalorian lore. Another alternative is that Tar Vizsla gave the prophecy himself. While Sabine Wren is now a Jedi technically, this came through intense training and perseverance. Hugh Yang, the Jedi training droid that we see throughout the Ahsoka show, pointing out that Sabine wouldn't have been accepted into the Jedi Order, as her natural aptitude with the Force is quite low. Given that very few Mandalorians are confirmed to have become Jedi actually, especially within canon, likely Sabine isn't unique, and even if more Mandalorians have some type of connection to the Force, it's a weak one at that. And so, since Tar Vizsla was famous for being a Mandalorian Jedi, and had inspired much of their religion and mythology, it's entirely possible that he was the one who actually had the prophecy, and had came up with this prophecy. It will be interesting to see the prophecy fulfilled though, however, especially in the current state of things. Since the Mandalorian movie is set to be a culmination of several different shows on Disney+, including the show it's named after, the prophecy could be a key plot point. While The Mandalorian Season 3 set up the prophecy to be a major part of Season 4, it could be featured in the movie instead. After all, an important part of the prophecy was that the Mandalore riding the mythosaur into battle. With the clans united now, it's possible that the foretold battle could be with the Imperial Remnant instead, led by Grand Admiral Thrawn. However, only time will tell. Let me know what you guys are all thinking in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking, your thoughts and opinions and theories. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.